this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. We're here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 257. We are making today the original book page pockets as per the Patricia Varimontes style book page pockets. So if you are wanting to craft along today, what are you going to need? You are going to need some book pages, obviously. Now, I've brought along a whole bunch of different size book pages and also different font types so that I just get a few different looks and things going with my pockets. So that's the first thing that you're going to need. I've brought my scissors along. Again, you can use scissors or you could use your paper trimmers, however you like to cut your paper down. And then you're probably going to need either a bone folder or, you know, if you're happy to use your scissor handles for like squishing down your folds and things. So I'm going to use my scissor handles. You're going to need some glue. Now, I tend to always use the Anita's Tacky glue. It's a PVA based glue and I use that when I'm gluing paper type items. And then I'm going to use a, card as a glue spreader. So I like to use like an old gift card or something like that. So I'll be using that. That's kind of pretty much it for the actual base pockets themselves. Now, normally I would use a sewing machine for these. And I'm sure that Patricia did definitely when she kind of made the original book page pockets. She, I'm sure, had used a sewing machine. But in this round of mass makes, I've tried not to. Sorry, I'm just tearing off some tissue to use as my mop up, for the glue. She used the sewing machine. I've used the sewing machine, but for this round of mass makes, I've tried to avoid using the sewing machine because I know not everybody's got one, not everybody's comfortable using it with paper and things like that. So I'm going to try not to use the sewing machine. So what I will do, I'll either prep my pockets and then, I will stitch them after the mass making session. Or what I'm going to do them slightly differently in that I'm going to glue the tops and then I'm going to staple them down. And you will see what I'm talking about as we are, as we're making them. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, if that doesn't really pan out, then I might have to revert to using the sewing machine. But I do like to try and avoid that really with the mass making sessions. Now, the other alternative is I have got some printables here and you could mix up these book page pockets by using printables or, scrapbooking paper or, I don't know, wrapping paper, whatever you like to use, instead of the book page. Now, I'm sure that we have done this, I think, in a video, but not in a mass making session. So I may make some using some decorative papers just for a bit of a mix up. We'll just kind of see how we get on. So let's take some book page and just kind of have a look at how we make these in the first place. So to make the basic pocket, what you're going to need is 2 book pages. So there's your 2 book pages. Now, a little handy tip here is if you fold them like this, not fold them, but flip it like this, so it's upside down to one another, and then just place it on like that. Basically what that's going to give you, is so that both of your pages are up the right way. Can you see that? If I had just taken that as it was, like that, do you see my text here at the top of the pocket would be upside down? Now, I have to say, when I first started junk journaling, I did do that and I didn't mind it. It looked fine. But if you want to be kind of like quite slick about it, then this is a little handy tip to get them the right way up. So now I'm going to show you how Patricia would have done them with the sewing machine, and then I'm going to try and do them not with the sewing machine. So like I say, we will see how that goes and then kind of play it by ear really. So basically, fold our pocket up, to where we kind of would like it to be, like this. Now, if you were sewing on the sewing machine, you would want to stitch along here, so as to keep your pockets, your 2 sheets of paper together. Stitch along there, and then you'd have it like that. And then you'd stitch around your pocket. Now, this would be a wide pocket, so I will probably trim this down here on the edge. So let's just quickly do that now. Okay. Like that. Oops. Maybe slightly narrower. There we go. Like that. Okay. And then what you would do, you've stitched along this piece first, and then you would just stitch all the way around. And to be honest, you can stitch across the bottom or not. The choice is yours. Because I'm going to try now and not use the sewing machine, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and glue this down. Now, where you're going to need to glue it, of course, you're going to need to glue it across here. Whoops, get my glue. So you're going to need to glue it across here, like that. And that's obviously so that your pocket is doubled over and, you know, not kind of going to be going in there, if that makes sense. And then what else you're going to need to do is glue the top here and possibly a little bit down the sides. So I'm just going to go down here like that and across the top, and then on the other side down there like that. This is where you can take your glue spreader, just smoosh the glue out like that. Okie dokie. Like that. And then what we're going to do now is, instead of stitching or sticking, we're going to just take our stapler and I'm just going to staple those sides. Now, I personally quite like staples, to be honest. I think they're very nifty. I think they're, you know, a quick and easy way of doing things. And I think what's quite nice, instead of like using glue, is you get the full width of the pocket then. Whereas if you use glue here, by the time you press it down and the glue spreads, you've shrunk your pocket space. So I think that's quite a nice way to make these, to be honest, without using the sewing machine. Again, it's up to you how you do them, but I think that's a different, you know, or a nice alternative way to do them. I have to say my pocket's looking very wonky, so I've obviously not really done that very, very straight. I'm not sure what was going on there, but again, could cover that up with a bit of lace or something like that. So I'm going to run you through another one, just so you kind of like see, you know, see it again. So taking a different book page here. Now, what we did, do you remember, we flipped it upside down like that, and then we're going to take this and we're just going to fold it up. Now obviously this book page is much narrower, so we don't need to obviously use the, you know, cutting down at all. So I'm going to just go across here, glue that down like that. Just need to be a little bit careful that I don't, you know, seep the glue out all over this back page. And then we're going to just open this up a little bit. Again, glue down a little bit down the sides, a little bit on the back, on the top, and like that. Now, I've only gone halfway down the page because, of course, this bottom section is the section that's being stapled. So there's not really any need to glue that. It's going to be, you know, secured with the staples. So spread your glue out like that. Okay. And then hold your book page. Depending on the size book page will depend on how many staples you need. I mean, yeah, probably still do need 3 here. You can use your tiny attacher. I'm using my, you know, proper normal size stapler because otherwise I feel like you might need to put, you know, maybe like 5 staples, you know. You probably wouldn't, but just to be on the safe side, I thought I'm just going to use my regular stapler. And that's it. So as you can see, really nice pockets in there. So I really do love these. Now, just to give you a sort of variation on the theme, let's just take a couple of printables here. So let's take this one, for example. So this is my Shabby Chic 2nd edition collection papers. And then on the back, this is my Totally Dotty collection papers. So what we can do is just literally fold this in like this. Let's get the width that we want this to be. Going to be coming unstuck a little bit because I've obviously gone where that bird is, but never mind. So like that, and then I'm going to just fold it in again here to get my line of where I need to tear it down. So this just saves me cutting it, so like that, and then just tear that off there. And what I was saying about the, you know, the upside down business, you could do it like this, in which case you're going to have upside down text. But also this one happens to be obviously double side printed. So to get a nice contrast, you know, like this, obviously we've got the same paper, but don't forget, you know, upside down. So what we can do, fold this down, tear this like that, and then we can put this, I'm going to flip it upside down. Just trying to think if it's upside down. I've lost the thread here. Yeah, is that upside down? Yep, I think so. Okay, right. So like that. Yeah. Okay. So that works like that. Okay. So then decide which way round you want it. Like that. I mean, like I say, I didn't really plan that brilliantly because I've now got the bird there, but that's okay. Or I could have it like that. So let's just check which way. Yeah, I think I do prefer it like that. So just line your papers up like that. And then I'm going to just bring this pocket here like that. Now, obviously I've made quite a big pocket because intentionally I was trying to cover that bird up. So again, just go across here with a bit of blue. Okay, like that. And then we'll open this up, and just like we did with the others, we just pop glue down on 3 sides, but not all the way down, because don't forget that's going to be stapled. So like that, smoosh the glue down, smoosh this all out like that, and then we can just staple this on the side. So I mean, don't forget, if you were stitching this, you would have stitched it here across here, and then you would stitch around, you know, the whole edges there. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I had such a frog in my throat. Obviously, too much talking. I've had a lot of stuff to sort out this morning, so I've spent a lot of time on the phone today. And yeah, I've obviously been talking a lot. So my voice, it's now taking its toll. Right, I've just got a bit of a sort of weird thing going on with that staple, but it's fine. So, yeah, just staple that. Probably do better if I actually leave the staple on the desk. Don't really like doing that when I'm filming, but there we go. Like that. So, you know, just a variation on the theme. I think they're quite nice to have the decorative papers instead for a change. I think they look quite nice. Like that. Okay. So we are just going to mass make a whole bunch of these. Let me know what you think, whether you like them, you know, stapled or stitched. You know, if you're mass making along with me, are you stitching yours or are you stapling them? But yeah, hopefully this is kind of useful for those people who don't, you know, don't want to use their sewing machine. So I'm going to do this assembly line style, as you know, as we normally do in mass making sessions. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just layer up my pages like this. Okay, so probably enough of those. I don't want to be really boring having tons and tons of the same page. So I'm just putting them in twos, piling them up. Oops. Piling them up in twos like that. And then I'll go back through and probably turn them upside down and fold them, or maybe just turn them upside down first. I'm not sure. But we'll just do it all assembly line style, and we'll just have a lovely time and a lovely catch up. So I hope everybody is doing brilliant. I hope your week has started out well. Today is Monday. I always film these on a Monday, really, to go out for you guys on the Tuesday. It feels like ages since I've hung out with you guys properly. I always think this is the most close to a kind of live video that I do, because I literally film them and they go up then for the next day. So it always feels kind of live, you know, really. But yeah, I didn't do a mass making last week because, of course, I was running my series, the 70 in 7 series. So I really hope that you guys all really enjoyed the series. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who commented and, you know, seemed to be really enjoying the series. I really appreciate your support, and I'm so thrilled. You know, when people say that they're enjoying the series, that is the most wonderful thing to hear, because of course, you know, when you're filming videos, I mean, you really hope that people are going to love them. So, you know, when it's positive feedback like that, it really is, you know, very rewarding and very nice to hear. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody who made a comment and who did enjoy the series and followed along. Thank you so much to if you joined in. I know that a few people had said that they were crafting along, so that also is absolutely awesome. Now I'm going to just do one or two with some decorative paper, just so we've got, again, a bit of a variation going on, and so we're not just doing it, you know, really boringly, just using all you know, book page, because I think it might be quite boring to watch, as book page is, you know, kind of the same all the time. So yeah, let's do some different pieces. Yeah, so thank you so much to everybody who did watch and who joined in and, you know, was enjoying the series. So yeah. So yes, I did not film a mass making last week, so it feels like a long time since I've hung out with you guys. So yeah, I hope that you're all doing brilliant, and yeah, hope everything is well with everybody. I don't know what's happened to our weather here today. It's really cold. I'm back in my polo neck again. Yep. Which is such a shame, because I had actually kind of come to the point where, I mean, I'd even sat in the garden a couple of times and I thought I was, you know, beginning to get a tan, and now of course I'm back in my polo neck and freezing today. So yeah, not very good, but I hope the weather and things is all lovely wherever you guys are. So maybe you are having better weather than we're having now. I'm just going to be tearing these down for making, and then we'll obviously, you know, have kind of bits to play with them on here as well. Yeah, so the weather deteriorated, but we have been very lucky, you know, like I say, the last couple of weeks it's been loads of really nice days, to be honest. So yeah, can't really complain too much. It has been, you know, it has been really lovely. I will try and remember to tell you the papers that I'm using, by the way. This is from the Capital collection papers, which I absolutely love, and I just find myself using them so often because yeah, they're really nice papers. This was the Totally Dotty collection, and this one was the Mulberry Garden, which is not a collection papers. It's a, you know, it's a sort of full kit. So you've got an ephemera piece, and you've also got a background part to the kit, just like my kits that I used to make, sort of, you know, the smaller sort of kits with the two parts. So it's one of those. So what have I been up to? Well, it all seems such a long time ago since I chatted. Now, my biggest thing that I have been up to, yeah, you guessed it, watching The Handmaid's Tale. Oh my goodness, blown away with that whole series. I loved it so much, and I'm talking in past tense because yeah, of course I've finished it. You know, I flew through it because it was so good. I'm just wondering actually if I could use the polka dot with this. So this is my Regency collection papers, and yeah, they look quite nice with that pretty polka dot, don't they? So I think I will use that. So yeah, The Handmaid's Tale. Oh my goodness, absolutely loved it so much. And obviously there were 5 seasons, so I've watched all 5 seasons. And yeah, I really loved it. And I kept on saying to my son, you know, all the time, oh my goodness, The Handmaid's Tale, oh my goodness, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. He was sick of hearing about it, and he was like, oh mum, I don't even need to watch it. I feel like I've seen it already because I've heard so much about it from you, because I couldn't stop talking about it. Anyway, I finally got him into watching it. So he's now loving it, and yeah, enjoying watching it. Now, I have to say, I was so gutted. This is the Lace Collection papers, and this is the Vintage Desk Set 3. I'm going to, I think, mix this together because what a gorgeous combination. I love that turquoise with those reds. So, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so he is now watching it, and, yeah, I flew through it and must have finished it. Oh, when did I finish it? I must have finished it last week, I think. So, yeah, I watched all 5 seasons. Now, I have to say I was so gutted because I finished it. And I thought, oh, amazing. I'm going to watch season 6, which is the final season. It's on Amazon Prime, by the way, for anybody who hasn't watched it. Well, I could not believe it. Season 6 does not come out here until the 3rd of May. Oh my goodness. I know it is out in the States. I don't know whether it's out in other places. Share below, you know, do you get it maybe like in Australia and things? Have you watched it in Australia? Do you have season 6, or is it just us? You know, is it just us who don't have season 6, or is it just the States who have it? I don't know. But I was so gutted because I thought, oh, brilliant. You know, I've just finished it and I'm going to be able to just roll straight on with season 6. No, I couldn't. Right. I think that's all I'm going to do. Although I might do one with the butterfly paper, actually, because I think that's quite nice. I mix it with this. It's quite nice, yeah. Okay, so this is the butterfly collection papers, and this is the pale damask in the set 2, the 2nd edition of the damask collections. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was there thinking, oh, brilliant, I'm going to watch season 6. No such luck, because yeah, season 6 not out. And I then, because I'm so obsessed with it now, I'm literally trying to hunt for anything to do with it all the time because I'm missing it so much. So I then discovered, not only is it not out until the 3rd of May, they're then going to be drip feeding it. So I think the first 3 episodes are going to come out, I think, in a block, you know, so you can watch, you know, binge watch those 3. And then they're not going to bring them out until like weekly episodes, I think. Now I have to double check that that is still the case, because it could be that maybe that was the case in America, maybe over here they're going to come out straight away. I don't know. But yeah, if we've got to wait till the 3rd of May and then they're going to be drip feeding them, I'm absolutely gutted, because my week, like between the episodes, will just drag and drag. You know, I'd be like dying to be watching it. Honestly, I loved it so much. Now, I have to say, it was, wow, horrible thing to watch in a lot of places. So, you know, if anybody has not watched it and you're kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to give it a go, I just want to say there are a lot of really graphic scenes, you know, very kind of like harrowing kind of scenes, really. There's quite a lot that are, you know, very gory. There's scenes that are very upsetting. There's, you know, distressing, all sorts. You know, they've kind of encapsulated everything. I mean, there's no joyful scenes, I've got to be truthful. None that fill you with, you know, oh, what a lovely feel-good scene that was. No, none of those. But all the other emotions, you know, anger, frustration, oh, despair, all of those things. Yeah, plenty of that going on. So, yeah, if you have not watched it, oh my goodness, you are missing out. It is so good. So good. I mean, yeah, I absolutely loved it. And to be honest, since I've watched it, I've watched tons of interviews and things like that with the cast members, because like I say, I mean, I'm properly like obsessed with it now. You know, I'm missing it so much. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, where else can I watch it? Where can I get a little bit of a feel of it again? So, yeah, I've been binging like interviews with the cast members and things like that. Now I'm wondering, do we want it with this, or this has got the Shabby Chic collection on the back? Oh, I might have it like that, I think. So this is the Shabby Chic 2nd edition again. So yeah, let's do it like that. Yeah, so I've watched quite a few interviews with the cast members. Oh my goodness, they seem so lovely. I mean, Elizabeth Moss, yeah, I've remembered the name. Elizabeth Moss, she's the main character, so she plays June in it, and wow, her acting is phenomenal, I have to say. Because, I mean, yeah, she plays a really, like, character, you know, who has to endure a lot of stuff. And she pulls it off just awesomely, like, yeah, all the time. Her acting is, like, really fantastic. So yeah, she is right up there now as probably my favourite actress, to be honest. I absolutely love her. And I'd never seen her in anything before. And I know that a few people have been really kind and commented, you know, some other things that she'd been in, which I'd never heard of. I think one of them was Mad Men or something. But yeah, wow, she is so talented. And I hadn't realised, but again, I've learnt this since obviously obsessively reading about everything to do with Handmaid's Tale. She actually directed, I think she directed the whole of season 5. I don't know. Anyway, she directed quite a lot of the latter, you know, episodes and series. So yeah, very, 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 very talented. And yeah, just like phenomenal. So honestly, I cannot recommend that series enough. I loved it so much. So I cannot wait now. Cannot wait to watch the, you know, the final season. So I mean, I have to say season 5, it kind of tailed off a little bit, you know, as a lot of these things do. I felt it sort of not necessarily lost its way, but it just seemed like a slightly different direction. But it was still good, but not really gripping like the other ones had been. So yeah, kind of like, yeah, I felt a little bit like it's not so good, but still, you know, still very watchable. So yeah, I can't kind of like claim it was rubbish. It was still very good. So yeah, I cannot wait until the 3rd of May. Although if they're then going to be drip feeding it, I'm now debating, should I then, you know, pace myself and just not start watching it until they're all available. Not sure, if I'm truthful, whether I would be able to resist watching it. But will it be more frustrating to watch it and then have to wait on a weekly basis for the episodes? I'm not sure. I might cut these down at the same time because I don't want them this wide. So I'm going to cut these down as we go, like that. And I might just chop them down in height as well, like that. So yeah, anyway, absolutely loved that. It was so brilliant. So yeah, let me know, are you in the States or anywhere else in the world and you've already got access to season 6? Oh my goodness, so jealous. I'm envying you so much. Yeah, are you enjoying it? What's it like? Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm really missing out. So yeah, let me know if you are in the throes of watching episode or series 6 and really enjoying it. Let me know, because I'm very envious that you have that. So since watching that, I watched the episode that everyone's talking about over here in the UK called Adolescence. Yeah, so I watched that thing, Adolescence, that everyone is talking about. They're talking about it here. I don't know whether they would would be talking about it on other countries. I have to say, I didn't really think it was great. I'm not sure why it's kind of received so much attention, to be honest. It was okay. I've seen a lot better dramatizations of things. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, I wanted to watch it because obviously everyone's going on about it. But yeah, it might have just been where I watched it after The Handmaid's Tale that I'd enjoyed so very much that then I thought, oh, this is not great, you know. Who knows? But anyway, it was not up there with The Handmaid's Tale. Not worthy of talking about endlessly like The Handmaid's Tale was. So, yeah, that was kind of that, really. What else have I been doing? Sorry if you can hear any noise, by the way. It is obviously Easter holidays, so my daughter is home from school. So I think she's just gone out, but she may be coming back in a minute. So, yeah, we might hear her knocking on the door in a minute. Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of that. And then cinema, we haven't been to the cinema at all, really. I don't think there's really been anything much on. There's been loads on, to be fair, for my daughter. Lots of children's films, you know, for the Easter holidays, obviously. And I have tried to entice her to go to the cinema. She doesn't like the cinema. And so even though there's been things like Snow White and things like that, you know, she's not interested in going. So she's like, no, Mum, you know I don't like the cinema. So yeah, there was no persuading her to go and see anything. So yeah, she's not been to the cinema, so we've not been to the cinema or anything like that. So that's all a little bit boring. But what was quite exciting at the weekend, they had what they call the members meeting up at Goodwood, which is where they have the Festival of Speed and the Revival, you know, when I rent my house out normally. Although at the moment I don't have bookings for those, so I hope I get some bookings. But yeah, so they have something called the members meeting. It's for people really who are members of Goodwood. I'm not obviously a member of Goodwood, but I was very, very lucky that a friend of mine from the gym, he is a member of Goodwood, but he doesn't go to the members meeting, you know, because if you're like a golf member and things like that, then, you know, you can get free tickets for the events. So you don't have to be like a car fanatic, you know, they have other things there. So yeah, you can have membership of golf, but you get free tickets to the car events. So anyway, he knows that I quite like cars and things, and he said, oh, I've got some tickets if you want them. So yeah, I was like, wow, that would be amazing. So very, very kind of him. So I bought his wife. I did say to him, you know, what do you have to drink? You know, what drink do you like for your wife? Because I had a feeling that he didn't drink. So he said that he didn't drink anyway. So I bought his wife an orchid plant type thing, flower. I don't know really whether you call them a plant or a flower, but anyway, I bought her one of those, and it was in vivid blue. I've gone off a tangent here just because I'm intrigued. It was this gorgeous colour blue, probably cross between these two colours. And I bought it, and I said to my son, oh my goodness, look at the colour of this. And I said to him, do you think that they dye those? So if you are kind of like into gardening or flowers or whatever, if it's like an orchid, you know, which I always just thought were white or pink, if it's like that colour blue, have they been dyed? I mean, I feel like I've heard people talking about this cross-pollination with plants. Is that a thing, or have I just dreamt that up? I don't know. But anyway, it was an absolutely gorgeous colour. But I thought, now's the time, because I know that lots of you are very good with plants and flowers and things that I'm completely not. So I thought, I'm going to ask you guys and see, is that something that would have been dyed or cross-contaminated or pollinated or whatever the expression is? Or is that just the colours that they do come in? I'm not sure. But anyway, it was absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, very, very, very lucky. So he gave tickets, and that was for yesterday, so Sunday. It's on the Saturday and the Sunday. So yep, I went with a friend of mine, and yeah, we had a lovely time there, and yeah, it was really nice. I have to say, it was quite cold because Saturday had been the nicer of the 2 days. And again, when I first stepped out of the house, so he came round, you know, and we were, you know, going up there. And he came round, and I obviously, you know, was ready to go. And then I stepped outside the front door, and I said, oh, it's quite warm, actually. I might be too hot in what I've put on. So I just had jeans and a long sleeve kind of jersey type top. But I did have a jumper in my bag and also a jacket. So I said, oh, actually, I'm having a panic now. I think I'm going to be too hot like this. So I went back in and I changed my top for a summer top. Well, I have to say, you know, sleeveless kind of top, just with like a vest type sleeves. Well, as soon as we got up there, my goodness, it was really blowy and really windy. So I needn't have panicked, and I could have just worn my original, you know, long sleeve top, to be honest, because actually pretty quickly when we got in there, it then was sort of quite chilly, and I was then like, oh, I'm quite cold now. So I ended up then quite swiftly putting on my jumper over the top of my short sleeve top and then my jacket. So yeah, it turned quite cold quite quick. But it was a really good fun afternoon, and I saw another friend of mine who, you know, I see at the gym, and yeah, him and his brother. So that was really nice. And yeah, just had a really good fun time. So yeah, it was all very fun. And they have lots of, you know, racing obviously goes on there. So, and at that particular event, at this members meeting, as they call it, they do the old cars. Now, when I say old cars, They're not like the really vintage ones. You know, I did the video a couple of years ago of the revival where everyone dresses up in, you know, like period dress, you know. It wasn't that kind of vintage. They weren't as old as that, but they have lots of cars like, I don't know, from the 70s and things like that. And yeah, they're kind of obviously racing and things, and very, very fun to watch. So yeah, that was rather fun. So that was what I did yesterday. So that was really, really nice. Saturday afternoon, went down to see my mum and dad with my daughter. No, not with my daughter, sorry, just with my son. I was just trying to think, did she come? No, she didn't come, because she was having her friend for a sleepover, and her friend was then coming round sort of during the afternoon. So by the time we'd done a few jobs in the morning, it was afternoon. So yeah, she did not come. So she just, you know, hung out at home waiting for her friend to come round for the evening and for the sleepover. So it was just my son and I, but we went down because my mum and dad had got some new garden furniture, so we were going down to see that. And I have to say, it was so lovely. Our garden is very hot when it gets, you know, just warm outside. I mean, it can be like, I don't know, 15 outside, and our garden's generally then 5 degrees hotter. So if it's 15, it seems like 20 in our garden. Well, my mum and dad's garden is quite big, and so unlike ours, you know, we're always like, oh, do we want to go to Nanny and Grandad's because their garden will be really cold compared to ours. Well, I have to say, now they've got this new garden furniture. It's in a spot in their garden where it's round in a corner and a sort of nook, and it was really warm. So yeah, that was kind of wonderful. So yeah, had a very, very nice time. And literally it felt like sunbathing weather. I mean, obviously we weren't dressed for sunbathing or anything, but you know, I did have a summer dress on, so yeah, was able to kind of like, you know, sun myself a bit. Hence I thought, you know, oh brilliant, I'm already kind of like out now sunbathing. But yeah, today definitely not. Definitely freezing today. When I say freezing, probably not really freezing, but yeah. Anyway, I biked to the gym this morning. Because I think I said a couple of weeks ago, dug my bike out, and oh my goodness, forgot how much I love my bike. So yeah, I've been biking to the gym, you know, whenever I can. Actually, I was just trying to work out where I'm going to get the most of this showing. So yeah, I'd forgotten how much I love having my bike, and yeah, biked to the gym this morning, and then I needed to stop and grab some shopping on my way back. So I mean, I got there about 6:30, and then by the time I left the gym, it was just literally coming up to 8 o'clock. So, you know, Aldi and things were going to be opening. So I thought, oh, brilliant, you know, I'll stop there and quickly get some bits and bobs. Well, I picked up the things. I needed some dog food and some dog treats and things, and I needed some frozen fruit for my smoothie and things like that. Anyway, came out of there, and obviously I haven't really used my panniers at all since I've had my bike back, because, you know, I've only had it back a couple of weeks, so I haven't really kind of used it that much. Well, would you believe, I got on it and I thought, you know, went to bike and it felt really weird, and I thought, oh no, it's where the panniers have got really kind of like weather damaged, and they're quite I mean, they're not mildew exactly, but you know, they've really faded, and you know, they're very old now and things. So I could do with some new ones, but they're really expensive. So yeah, I'm not going to get some new ones. But anyway, I went to bike, and I thought, oh no, they're all kind of like bent out of shape, obviously, and they're getting caught in the wheel, because it just felt really, really weird. So about 4 times I kind of jumped off of the bike and tried to rearrange the panniers to make them more, you know, not in the way of the wheel, if they were, if that makes sense. Anyway, would you believe I had a puncture? So I don't think the panniers were necessarily in the way of the wheel anyway. But no, in fact, what had happened, I then had a puncture. So, yeah. And to be honest, then thought, oh no, I'd forgotten about this side of biking, obviously. To be fair, I say that. I mean, I don't really recall hardly ever getting punctures on my bike. So I'm not really sure where I picked that puncture up from. But yeah, anyway, very annoying. And especially because my son's bike also had a puncture, and he kept saying, oh, I can't really afford to, you know, buy the tyre. So at the weekend, I said to him, well, I'll go halves with you on the tyre and the inner tube. So we bought the new tyre for his bike on Saturday on our way back from the gym. I'm just going to glue a couple of different shape and size ones so that we don't have kind of all the same. So, yeah, we had stopped and we bought the tyre and the inner tube and all of that. So we came back home, and he then, you know, put it on, and he then said to me, he came in and he said, oh, Mum, you wouldn't believe it. Now the other one's flat. You know, the front tyre is now flat. So, my goodness. So still he's not able to use his bike. He now needs, obviously, a new inner tube or whatever on the front tyre. And now I do. So I messaged him when I got back from the gym this morning, you know, having walked my bike home, you know, and said to him, oh, you wouldn't believe it, I've now got a puncture on my bike. He said, oh my goodness, you know, none of us are going to be biking around. So I was like, I know, just annoying or what? So yeah, very, very, very annoying. Anyway, yeah, never mind. The only person who's got a working bike is my daughter, and to be honest, I don't even want to tempt fate. I'll probably look later and find that hers also has got a puncture. Oh, it's so annoying. So that was that. On Thursday, I baked a cake. So I made a Victoria sandwich. I used to bake all the time, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. And I have to say, I don't ever really bother baking anymore because, yeah, it just seems pointless, you know. Nobody really kind of wants to eat the things, and sometimes they end up sitting there and then, you know, going stale and, you know. But my son had said, oh, you know, just fancy a Victoria sandwich. And he'd said that a couple of weeks ago. And I said, oh, I'll make one. And he said, oh, no, not this weekend because I'm going out. You know, I don't want to kind of like look bloated, you know. Because he's a bit like me. And if the cake's there, he'll stuff the whole cake. So, yeah, I didn't make one that week. But, yeah, I made one on Thursday. So, yeah, he loved that. And then the whole thing was gone by the next morning. So, yeah, he obviously did really, really like it, which is lovely, isn't it? But, yeah, in fact, going back to him, I don't know whether I finished off saying, but, yeah, he's now watching The Handmaid's Tale because having heard me go on and on and on and on about it, you know, and him keep saying, oh, I don't even need to watch it, Mum. I feel like I've seen the whole of it because you've just gone on about it so much. I finally persuaded him. I just kept on saying, oh, just give it a go. Give it a go. You're going to love it. Love it. Love it. He is loving it. So, yeah, I think he's nearly at the end of season 2 already. And he must have only started watching it, I don't know, middle of last week or something. So he, like me, is like obsessively flying through it now. You know, so, yeah, loving it, loving it, loving it. So, yeah, that's kind of what we've been viewing and what we've been doing. I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's purchased anything from my Etsy shop. I've finally got a replacement printer because my printer had been playing up quite a lot. And so, again, I spent a huge amount of time on the phone to HP last week, who, I mean, HP, their customer service is amazing, I have to say. Very, very, very good. But yeah, I spent a long time on the phone to them last week trying to sort out my printer. Couldn't print it out. So they've very kindly sent me a new replacement printer. I mean, it was still under warranty, obviously. But yeah, they've sent me a new one, which arrived this morning. So hopefully I can get printing again because I've got a couple of other kits, which I think are finished. But I need to kind of do the final print through to make sure that they're looking nice. So yeah, hopefully they'll be in my shop later this week. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody who has purchased anything, either on my Etsy shop or my website. I really do appreciate that. Whilst I'm talking of my website, I have done quite a big restock on there. So I've got quite a lot of items listed on there now, different things that haven't necessarily been on there before. So I've got some fabric fun packs on there where we've got different fabric kind of embellishment type pieces. I think you get like a flower, I don't know, what do you call those, like a lace kind of tassel-y type thing and things like that. Yeah, just a variety of different fabric type embellishments. I haven't done those in my shop before, so they're quite fun. I've got a couple of large kits in there, so yep, they're also in there. And I also put another journal in there, which is a lovely wraparound journal. I'd made it quite a long time ago, and yeah, that's now listed on there. So if you wanted to head over and have a look at any of those things, they're all listed in there now. Yep. So anyway, I'm trying to keep it quite restocked. So yeah, do head over and have a look if you're likely to be interested in any of those types of things. What else? Yeah, anyway, that's probably kind of most of my news, really. I'm trying to think. Oh, last week. So it was obviously the first week of the Easter holidays. I really was just working all week, which was pretty boring for my daughter, I have to say. But we just had on the Wednesday afternoon. So, you know, when I'm kind of working, obviously, in the holidays, I just try and keep like one afternoon or something where we do something together. So we went and we played pool. I know I've talked about this before, but yeah, she quite likes playing pool. And yeah, we biked down. So again, we used our bikes pre-puncture. So we went and used our bikes and we biked down to like the bowling alley, which I talked about before, where they've got like sort of lots of pool tables now and things, which she just finds that much more fun than going to like the more grown-up sort of snooker club to play pool. And yeah, so we went down there, we biked down, and then we had a McDonald's, and then we played pool for the afternoon. Well, I say the afternoon, like an hour, but the whole afternoon. We were out for actually like 3 hours by the time we biked there, had the McDonald's, went and played pool. So, and then she went on, you know, those grab machines where you try and win the soft toy. So she used all of her pocket money on that. And yeah, she had 2 weeks of pocket money. So I think she used £7. Oops, £7 on there. Desperately trying to win one of these cuddly toys. And of course, nobody ever wins them. I mean, to be fair, I say nobody. Actually, when we were in there a few weeks ago, somebody did win one of the cuddly toys, which is obviously why she's now so determined to try and get one, because she's kind of like, see, Mum, people do win them. Whereas before I was like, oh, nobody ever wins them, you know, it's a waste of money. Where now she can obviously say, Mum, people do win them. That girl won one, you know, and fair enough, she did win one. And actually, I felt really sorry for her, or not for her, actually, but her sister, because she was a twin. So obviously there was her and her twin sister both trying to win something on that grabber machine. And of course, only one of those twins won one. So the other one was really upset and was crying. So they were quite little girls, you know, was crying. So yeah, I felt a bit sorry for her, to be honest. Not the one who won one, but the twin. Yeah, but obviously since seeing that, my daughter's like, see, people do win them. And it's like, well, I can't really say anything now, because actually they do appear to. But yeah, when she obviously spent all of her pocket money, £7, trying to win some, you know, I said, well, you've now wasted 2 weeks pocket money on that, you know, and you still haven't won one, and, you know, they're probably not even worth £7 anyway. But, I mean, she was like, oh, I really wanted to win one. And I have to say, I really wanted her to win one. I kind of like keeping my fingers crossed, you know. But no, she didn't. And to be honest, there's no point me trying to win one for her, because when we had gone there before, I think it was on her birthday, she really wanted to win one that time. And she's pretty good. She's got quite a good eye for the distance, you know, of how far back you need to go with the grabby arm. And I said to her, oh, let me have a go, you know, let me have a go, see if I can win one for you. Oh, my goodness. I was like, nowhere near the toy, you know. It literally kind of went to nowhere and grabbed nothing. So yeah, she's miles better, you know, much more hope at winning something doing it herself. So I didn't even have an attempt at trying to win one for her last week, you know. I just let her do it herself, because I thought, well, it's her pocket money, it's not right that I actually waste her pocket money because I'm so rubbish. Right, I'm going to leave these ones to do after the video, because obviously I'm going to run out of time, because I haven't actually, you know, stapled these together yet either. So let's just quickly staple some together. Yeah, so that was what we did on Wednesday, and we'll probably do something similar this Wednesday, just so as we have had a little bit of you know, fun together during the school holidays. And then of course it's Easter, so Easter next week. I think actually I should really check. Is it Easter this weekend? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's Easter this weekend. And there will be no mass making next week because on the bank holiday weekends, I do struggle to do then a mass making, you know, and I kind of naively think, oh, I'll do the mass making, and then it gets to the bank holiday weekend, and then invariably I don't get round to doing it. So I'm going to just say now, there's not going to be a mass making next week. I will, of course, put up a different video. There won't just not be a video, but it won't be a mass making video. So yeah, just because, you know, I probably won't get time on like the bank holiday Monday to do the mass making. But yeah, we haven't got any plans for the bank holiday weekend. Yep, I hope the weather will be lovely, and you know, I think there might be, oh no, I was going to say there might be a sausage walk, but actually I think that's the following weekend, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think there is one next weekend, but I think maybe the following weekend. So yeah, nothing planned for the Easter. Oops, I went out of staples. Yeah, so nothing planned for the Easter weekend, but I mean, if the weather's nice and things, you know, we'll just have a nice time chilling in the garden, and you know, we'll have some chores to do, I'm sure. You know, tidy up the garden a bit, because we haven't really obviously used it so far, other than literally a couple of hours last week sat out there. So yeah, we'll kind of just chill out a bit, and you know, it will be nice, you know, like I say, I mean, the weather's good, you can just have a nice time doing not a lot. You know, we can bike and just go and bike somewhere and have a coffee, and you know, that type of thing. Obviously if the weather's not great, then that's when you end up sort of spending money and, you know, sort of say, oh, what should we do, what should we do? And obviously, you know, the weather forecast's not out yet for the weekend, but we can hope, can't we, that the weather's going to be good. I'm just going over slightly with my staples on this one, because I might take it down slightly in terms of width. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. Okay, right, let me just staple a couple more, and then we will decorate one up. Okie dokie. So I feel like we've made a lot here, I have to say, which is pretty cool, isn't it? So, I mean, how awesome was that in the 70 and 7, where we ended up with all those 70 pieces decorated? And I have to say, I've been finishing off journals and things recently, and I know I've talked about that ever since doing the X-Piles, where I found a lot of unfinished projects and things. And yeah, so even though I made those 70 items, actually I've used a phenomenal amount recently of ready-made items. So I'm not saying I'm running out exactly, but already you know, my supplies are not as plentiful as you would expect. You know, I feel like they're already lowish. Right, okay, so let's have a count up of how many we've made. I feel like we've made a lot, but there's a lot to finish. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 to finish, i.e. staple. These ones have to be glued as well. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Wow, I mean, I was like really over ambitious here. I don't know why I thought that I would do quite so many in this episode. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. No idea why I went quite so crazy today. Obviously because I haven't filmed one of these for a couple of weeks. I've like lost the plot and forgotten just, you know, how many I normally do. I'm not sure, but yeah, anyway, I kind of overdid it there and was over ambitious, but hey, never mind, that's all fine. Let's decorate this one up. So this is the mulberry papers, so yep, let's just use this one. Now where's my blendy tool? It's disappeared somewhere. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, where? Oh, there it is. I thought, well, that's weird, why has that disappeared now? Okay, so I just ink around the whole of the pocket. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the staples work really, really, really well for these. You know, just a really nice alternative if you didn't want to use your sewing machine, you know, or maybe a bit like me, you know, my sewing machine's not here set up. So although, you know, I could have used the sewing machine, I do like to keep these nice and accessible for everybody. And like I say, not everybody has a sewing machine or wants to use it with their paper. Also, you know, not everybody obviously has their sewing machine very accessible. So the stapling is quite a nice alternative if you don't have ready access to your sewing machine. You know, this is a kind of quick and easy way of making them, you know, just in an alternative way. So let's just see. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm just going to glue this down. So this is from my Victorian London collection papers, and obviously mixing it here with the Mulberry Garden background papers like that. Okay, just going to snip that out. And also it's also mixed with the polka dot papers, so you know, quite a few different papers going on here, but I think they look quite nice together and work quite well. So pop that like that. Okay, and let's just see. Oh, I've got this is the colour book plate. It's become a bit marked laying around on my desk, but that's okay. Oh, I also made some chia seed muffins last week because, oh, I had one day where I was so tired. Well, actually, I had a couple of days where I was so tired, but one day in particular, I was so tired. I literally felt like I could barely move my feet in front of each other. I don't know what that was about, although one of my other friends from the gym, she said she also felt really tired during the week last week. So I'm hoping that it was just like a sort of bit of a bug or something going around, you know, not that it's something else, you know, kind of like something else that's going to be slightly longer to get rid of. Yeah, because I found it very frustrating. But yeah, she said that she also had felt really tired. So hopefully it's kind of just a blip and it's over now. But yeah, that was really, really annoying. So there we go. Thinking, I think a bit of sari silk just across the top. I do love to ruffle the sari silk. I know, just boring to do the same thing, but I just love it so much. So I'm just going to pop this book plate here. The book plate will just hold the lace in place. So yeah, like that. Okay, like that. Okie dokie, and then here. And I haven't forgotten, obviously, a few of the videos that I had said. So I know that I'd said about, you know, my rings, and a couple of people had, or one lady, she had said, oh, I'd love to see all of your junkie rings. And I'd said about doing that video. Yeah, I'm still going to do that. I was going to try and have my nails done for it, but yeah, I'm not going to do that now. So yeah, I'm going to just go with my normal bended nails. But I thought, oh, perhaps I'll treat myself and go with some nice nail, what do you call those? You know, the acrylic nail extension things. But yeah, they're it's probably a bit excessive kind of just to do that video, so I'm not going to. But yeah, so I'm just going to paint my short nails and just do it like that. So yeah, I have still got that video that I'm thinking I will do. And also the collection papers, I know I've mentioned that because somebody had requested that I did a, you know, flick through of all the different collection papers. So I have started doing that. There's a lot of collection papers to go. Obviously, I have done it from the earliest collection papers already. So they're already, you know, already kind of up there. But I obviously then was having problems with my printer. So that, you know, caused a halt in proceedings because, of course, you know, I couldn't carry on printing my collection papers. So I've done like some, but now I need to get back onto it. Now my printer's arrived this morning. I mean, I've not set it up yet, so actually I'm going to do that one, I think. So yeah, once I set my printer up, which I will hopefully do this evening, then I will print more of the collection papers and get on with those videos and things. And those videos, they'll include like some tips and tricks on, you know, paper types and printing and things like that as well. So I mean, hopefully they'll be, you know, more interesting than just a look at the papers. There will be other useful content as well in there, some tips and tricks, you know, for printing and things like that for your junk journals and things. So yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, what a yummy pocket. That's so pretty, isn't it? I love, love, love how that looks. So I do totally love the book page ones. You know, this just happens to be obviously on a printable, but yeah, I do love them equally on the book page paper. Don't think that I'm not loving them on the book page. I do. But I thought that just doing some on the printable paper would be a nice variation. So yeah, I hope that you like that. That's like I say, the mulberry paper, the polka dot, Victorian London, and then the pale butterflies and the coloured book plates, you know, all coming together there to look absolutely yummy, doesn't it? So yeah, I really hope that you like those pockets. Obviously your pocket is there, and then I would glue them down on 3 sides, and you'd have like side pockets, or maybe 3 sides there. You'd have a top pocket. You can also, you know, change them up by just doing little tweaks like rounding the corners, oops, things like that. Just, you know, little variations there to sort of change the look of them. So yeah, lots of things that you can do there. So I really hope that you like them. Totally not my idea. Like I say, they're from the awesome Patricia Viramontes, who is like the queen of book page pockets. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on The Handmaid's Tale, adolescence, all of those things. You know, yeah, all of the above. If you are on season 6 of The Handmaid's Tale, oh my goodness, so jealous. Are you enjoying it? Oh, am I going to really love it? Or, you know, is it a disappointment? Oh, let me know. Yeah, really appreciate a big thumbs up for this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much then, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.